Hey guys, Steven here, Fanatic Perspective, reacting to Casey Thompson now being named the starting quarterback at the University of Texas, the beginning of the Casey Thompson era. You'll get the start against Rice, Percy, Sarkisian. So we know Hudson Card was our starter first two games. And after the disaster in Fayetteville, that was a team-wide disaster, Sark is looking for juice. And as I said on my live yesterday, as I was reacting to the game, I would consider, if I was Steve Sarkisian, you need some juice. You know this offensive line is bad. What can we get from Casey Thompson? So here we go. As I jump into this video, please, remember we have a new sponsor, BUSR, BUSR.com, the official sponsor, the official sports book, the official betting partner of Fanatic Perspective, BUSR.com/Fanatic. Take advantage of that promo code you see down there, NFL100FP. I'll have a link in the description below. Match 100% deposits, 100% free play. So take advantage. Just finished watching Ravens Raiders. That was as drunk a football game as possible. So if you had some money on that, you had fun watching those boys get down in Vegas. So Casey Thompson, first thoughts right off the bat. I'm thrilled for Casey Thompson. On a whole individual layer, what this young man has done for our program from a standpoint of staying here. He was in the portal early, stayed here. He committed here when, he has the OU legacy, and quite frankly, has developed. And I know when he got here, what was it, 2018 or whatever, 2018, like people didn't expect that. A lot of people didn't expect that he would develop into somebody that would be, he was always considered to me more of a project, whether it was Cameron Rising was always, oh, he's more ready to go. Hudson Card, or people were excited about Jaquindon Jackson. And I just appreciate somebody who stayed steady and stayed ready. And not just that, saved us in a bowl game. And someone who has developed on their own within this program to where, we talked about Hudson Card's gifts and natural tools and skill set, but we do know, and we've heard, this quarterback battle was very, very tight and really kind of did go into the season. Now here we are before conference play. We're already making a quarterback change. But before I get into all the good, bad, and ugly there, I'm thrilled for Casey Thompson, the individual. What he showed at the end of the Arkansas game. Say what you want about the situation or the score or what have you. He showed us toughness. He showed us juice. And no matter what situation he has been in, whether it's garbage time or in the bowl game, he leads the team to points. And that's what Steve Sarkisian focused on in terms of emphasizing on why he's making this switch. Now, a lot of scuttlebutt within the Longhorn fan base. So let's set the boundaries here. It is okay to be critical of the staff from a standpoint of the decisions you're seeing happen real time and offer critique. That does not mean you want them fired. That does not mean we're toxic. This happens any sports team. I'm also a Cowboys fan. I watch NFL just as much as I watch college football. I watch all college football. These conversations are happening every time teams with high expectations and teams that want to win fall short of that. And when you're embarrassed in the manner in which Texas was embarrassed, these conversations are going to happen regardless. They're not just going to stand by and not say anything, especially when people had opinions about certain things before the season, good, bad, or indifferent. Now, in terms of Casey Thompson, Hudson Card, I had Hudson Card in our top 10, had Hudson Card in our breakout players. Why? Steve Sarkisian quarterback. And after week 1 against Louisiana, how could you not feel fantastic about that? The guy showed everything you would want from a freshman quarterback player, first start, real first action against a real live defense, not in any pickup situations. We didn't pass the test. And when I say we, I mean the entire team. For those who say, hey, I don't understand, are we screwing with Hudson Card's confidence? This is a risk. I mean, shoot, we were screwing around with, before the season. I mean, you think about it, and this is where I think it is fair to question. If you're Steve Sarkisian, because I'm going to go kind of, the point and then devil's advocate, if you will. But point one would be, why not do the traditional model that other teams have done where you start with the veteran, knowing you had a crazy road trip coming, SEC country, Fayetteville, all that, and then ease your young guy into it so that you don't risk messing his confidence, his development, things of that sort. Now, here's devil advocate point to that, because that's just how I think. They didn't know a few things. And this is also growing pains with the coaching staff that we need to work through, all of us. They didn't know the offensive line was that bad. They didn't know. And I know we had that listed as a concern, as one of our top 5 concerns, especially from a pass blocking perspective. But they didn't realize that the offensive line was going to be so bad to where we can't run we can't run block, we can't pass block. We've gone away from all the outside zone stuff we did at the end of the last season. You don't even see that. You don't see any of those stretch concepts, any of the stuff that Bijan was really, really good at. All that seems to be gone. They underestimated the hatred that people have for Texas and that energy and that fuel. That's just my opinion. I'm not talking to anybody. I'm not answering anything. That's just what my football eye tells me, right? I sit here, I watch all this stuff. The vitriol, those people in Arkansas were ready to die to beat Texas. They were ready. And I think this staff, part of that is that bubble they were in Bama, where you're so ahead of everybody else that, yeah, you may get people's best shot on the field, but it's not an emotional best shot. They're learning real time. When people play Texas, it's not just your A game on the field. It's not just that we had a great week of practice. It's we want to die to beat these dudes. And that's the energy they were playing against, and we did not match it. So now, going away from that, they're starting to look at it and say, where are the dogs, right? And where are the people that can give us some juice? Casey Thompson, when you watch him play, there's so many things he does that you can't really measure in practice. You can't gauge him as a runner in practice, especially when you're a coach that doesn't really favor running quarterbacks. And you can kind of see that with how the quarterbacks are playing. But that's what he does. And the thing is, if that's what he does and it's, stylistic difference from what you want to do as a coach, but he's doing it with confidence and that confidence is infectious to others, then damn it, if that's how we need to score points, that's what we're going to do, to score points. And I understand the ramifications that can come about. But here's the thing. We're underestimating how accurate Casey Thompson actually is, especially when he does throw the routes that he's pretty damn good at throwing. I think he, has upside as a passer that people tend to underestimate. We just talk about him as if it's, he's Eric Crouch. He's very, very good in the pocket and does some really cool things and creative things, again, that you can't simulate or replicate in practice. But, hanging on to, he was, turning the ball over in practice, or, this other guy looked better throwing in shorts and all those type of things. Once live bullets start going, we learn about people, period. This game tonight, this NFL game tonight, y'all saw Ravens Raiders. Derek Carr learned a lot about himself, and he's a veteran because he was getting lit up every play, 0 blitz. Ravens don't care. We're playing man coverage. You know what the coverage is? Man up. And his guy, they all had to figure it out. Lamar Jackson, you watch the other quarterback on the other side. Lamar Jackson, all of that, so much of what he does, especially in his passing game, whether you like it or not, it's off script. It's very difficult to replicate some of that stuff in practice. But do they move the ball down the field? Are they producing points? This is not an indictment on Hudson Card. Hudson Card is developing. He's a young guy, and I hate the situation he was put into because I blame the coaches for that. And I think that's the error that they made. And if they could do it over again, without underestimating how bad the offensive line was and underestimating the opponent's energy that would come towards them, yeah, you looking back at it, it's probably all right. We probably should put the veteran there and ease into that. That's what most teams do. Then do that. Try to go with the better guy, have a meritocracy. This guy outperform the other guy in practice. I get it. And look, we support anybody who's a Texas quarterback on this channel because I'm supporting the University of Texas. And I think right now, I think a lot of people are getting frustrated online because I'm not frustrated. I'm frustrated with losing. Okay. And that's a quote that Steve said today. You got to hate to lose more than you want to win. You hear that all the time in sports, common sports cliche. But that needs to be digested in the offensive line because Steve played the two truths and a lie during the press conference. The offensive line is an issue. And it's so bad that we have to divert the quarterback situation just to try to get ourselves out of this to win football games because we are in win now mode. It is fair to have high expectations. Texas was favored by 6.5 points against Arkansas. Okay. From a talent standpoint, and I understand they got their asses whooped in the trenches. There are so many players and guys on this team that are not playing up to their capabilities for whatever reason. Okay. So it is fair to have high expectations. I'm not backing off of that and saying, oh, comfortable going, 7 or whatever, 8, whatever. Then if that's the case, then we got to stop the coaching turnover and just stick with people. We can't keep firing coaching staffs. That's part of the reason why it's so hard for these kids to grasp anything when not even just the coaching. I'm talking about full staffs. This is now three. You think about 3 staffs in terms of, DB coaches, linebacker coaches, whoever's calling the offense over the last 3 years. And then we wonder why guys are struggling with playing fast and processing certain things. That's not on the players. But we need people out there that can be decisive, whether they're, making the right thing or the good thing, like instinctively being decisive. And Casey Thompson gives you that, in my opinion. Yeah, you can talk about, are we gauging it just off bloss, or we gauging it off this, or we gauging it off that. Well, now we get to see. Because we know, and it'll be a test for Casey Thompson, right? Teams will eventually see more and more of him, and they'll put stuff together to recognize his tendencies and how does he get better off that? How does he counter to those things? That's football, and that's football over the course of a season. So we've got to do a better job as a team, though, of embracing that hatred, embracing that energy, and understanding that we can't be soft anymore. We can't have that perception to be soft. We can't let people punch us in the face. And I don't know if that's something you can fix over the course of the season. Because going back to my point about 2 truths and a lie, yeah, they need to switch up the offensive line rotation. Other people need to be benched and held accountable and all those types of things. That's just facts. But you can tell the press and everybody, get the quarterback thing out the way at the beginning of the week because that person's going to be getting the reps anyway. And you're going to have to figure out during the week what group you want to roll with or what rotation of guys you want to roll with. And that's something they're going to need the whole week to figure that out. Because I'll be damned if they roll in and try to sell us some BS that, you see the group played much better against Rice. No disrespect to Rice. That's the worst team we're going to play this season. We are currently 26-point favorites. So we're not going to learn any new information. The information we needed to learn was last week against in Fayetteville. We got our ass whooped. 1-on-1. More of the same. In some cases, worse. Talk about product launch. We have an OS issue. OS needs to be updated. What do we need to do to get juice? I'm tired of losing. Everybody's tired of losing. And that's not that these staffs, they just they're inheriting all these things. But at some point, we've got to figure out how to ingrain that toughness and find people who are passionate, find people that have that juice. And it's a Saturday night type thing. It's only when those lights come on. And now that the staff is starting to learn more about who's on this team and who's recruited and some of the personalities and how guys respond, what makes guys tick, hopefully they'll be able to determine the right lineups before it's too late and things really go off the rails. Still have time, like I said yesterday. Goals are in front of us. And I'm hoping that Casey Thompson's the right guy to lead us there. I'm hoping Hudson Card can continue to perform, continue to stay engaged, and develop, not lose confidence like we've seen with other guys here at Texas. It's a scary sight right now. It's a red flag. No doubt about it. Not going to sugarcoat anything on this channel. But we got to support number 11, Casey Thompson. We love the fact that he seems to play with the same amount of heart as the previous number 11, General Ellinger. So now we get to see the brother showcase his gifts, hopefully with a better coaching staff that can guide him. Guys, check out BUSR. I appreciate it. Thankful for our sponsors, busr.com/fanatic. Hit that promo code NFL100FP. Let's go make some money together this weekend on all these games coming up to match at 100% deposit, free play. Let's get it. Guys, remember, Horns always up.